Hello everyone, welcome to Chinese Grammar Simplified. My friend Miro from Switzerland loves to ski. Whenever his Chinese friends visit him, or when he visits his friends in China, they will often go skiing together. But recently, during their conversation, Miro got a bit confused with the uses of the word 次, times. Its meaning seems quite simple at first, but when he tries to use it to build sentences, the word order starts to get confusing. If you are also interested in learning how to use the words like 次, 变, or 趟 to express the frequency of actions in Chinese, in the next 5 minutes, we'll dive into the world of Chinese measure words for verbs. Let's start. Time. What a tricky English word to translate into Chinese. In essence, the word time represents 3 strands of ideas, and in Chinese, we have different words for each strand. We have 时候 for a specific point in time, 时间 for a period of time, and a third word for the frequency of actions takes place, like when we say 1 time, 2 times, etc. In the third case, the word in Chinese is 次. Since it's describing the frequency of verbs, we usually place it after a verb in sentences, and we consider it a measure word for verbs. The pattern goes subject, verb, number 次, object, which means subject, verb, object, number times. For example, if Miro says, 这个月我们滑了3次雪，下个月我要去一次中国. He means, this month we skied 3 times, and next month I'll go to China once. One variation of this pattern is to move 次 to the end of the sentence, but by doing that, we need to repeat the verb after the object. So, the sentences we saw can be rephrased as 这个月我们滑雪滑了3次，下个月我要去中国去一次. However, in actual practice, when the object here is people or places, we Chinese usually prefer to not repeat the verb. So it's more authentic to build the second sentence as 下个月我要去中国一次. Odd, right? I know. The exception really complicates things a bit. On the other hand, this maneuver of verb-object plus verb might seem familiar to some students because it appears in several other patterns discussed in my earlier videos. Feel free to revisit them to refresh your memory. Now, to help you get used to all the patterns introduced so far, let's take a look at more examples. If Miro wants to say, yesterday I met my friend once. Today we talked on the phone twice. He could say, 昨天我见了一次朋友. Or, 昨天我见了朋友一次. 今天我们打了2次电话. Or, 今天我们打电话打了2次. Notice here in the second version of each sentence, the number of times is placed at the end. And when the object of the sentence is not people or places, we have to repeat the corresponding verb once. Now, in addition to 次, there are several other common verb measure words used to indicate frequency. While they follow essentially the same patterns as 次, they do mean slightly different things. 变 means time, just like 次. However, it has an emphasis on the repetition of the action from the beginning to the end. For example, if Miro says, 我做了2遍那个练习, he is saying, I did that exercise twice, from the beginning to the end. If we use 次 here, it only implies 2 attempts, without the emphasis on the entire course of the action from the beginning to the end. 下 is often associated with the number of times for hitting, tapping, or knocking. If Miro says, 我敲了5下门, he is saying, I knocked on the door 5 times. Tang is specifically used for the number of trips or traveling. If Miro says, 我去了一趟商店, he is saying, I went to the store once, or I made 1 trip to the store. For English speakers, having specific measure words to highlight specific details of actions might seem really odd in the beginning. But keep in mind that different emphasis among world languages reflect cultural differences and different ways of thinking. Studying a new language is really, at its core, studying a new human culture. Alright, Miro, now that we have learned the basic uses of 次, 变, 下, and 趟, do you have more questions? Yes, I have 2. 1. How do you say every time in Chinese? And 2. How do you ask and answer how frequently or how often in Chinese? Great questions, Miro! In our next video, let's take a step further and discuss the more advanced structures related to 次. Stay tuned. As always, here are some translation problems to help you put today's learning into practice. You can find the answers on my website. If you found this video helpful and would like to see more, please like and subscribe. To gain access to my weekly live Q&A sessions, video scripts, and other perks, simply click the link in the description below to join my membership. For personalized Chinese lessons, reach me at TwinCitiesChineseTutor.us. Thank you for watching.